Michael Сэylor is the co-founder and executive chairman of business intelligence firm Strategy and a so-called Bitcoin evangelist. We asked him for a currency crash course from Bitcoin's beginnings all the way until the White House. Watch. Well, Michael Сэylor, you have over 48 patents, and now you are so big into the Bitcoin crypto space. How did you get introduced to crypto initially?
In 2013, I heard about Bitcoin, but I didn't need it, and I just dismissed it as an oddity. And in 2020, my company faced an existential crisis, and I realized that I was either going to have a fast death or a slow death, or I needed to take a risk and transform the business. So what we did is we looked around for something like digital gold that we could purchase on our company's balance sheet that would save the company and give us a future. And so that's how I came across crypto.
If you were to talk to my 5-year-old and you were to say, this is what cryptocurrency is, how do you explain it to people?
In the modern era, a pseudonymous programmer named Satoshi Nakamoto developed a digital form of money, took advantage of cryptography, networking, and semiconductors, and created what we'll call digital gold. He wanted to create a copy of gold, but he wanted to put it in cyberspace. He wanted to make it possible to move it at the speed of light, to provide monetary sovereignty as a reaction to the great financial crisis back at the end of the last decade, when most of the population lost trust in the money or the currencies they had in banks. How do you make gold better? You make it digital, so I can send it from New York to Tokyo in a few minutes. You make it capped. It's impossible to make any more. There's only 21 million bitcoins. 21 million forever. You can take it with you. Nobody can take it away from you. And you can put it on a computer, which means you can program it at the speed that the computer thinks. And that made it the ideal money for the digital age.
A lot of people say, all right, if I want to invest a little money in Bitcoin, I don't know where that goes, but it does go somewhere. You're saying it's actually more secure and safer than actually putting it into a bank because it's yours and no one could ever take that from you. Is that right?
The real appeal of Bitcoin is people don't want to invest or risk their money. They want to save their money. So Bitcoiners would say, we're not investing, we're saving. It's a savings technology. What if you just wanted to take your life savings and put it into a bank in cyberspace that promises to never freeze your funds, that isn't run by humans, it's run by incorruptible software, and you're going to go to sleep for a decade, right? If you're Rip Van Winkle, what can I buy that 30 years from now will be more valuable, that will hold its value? But the real breakthrough, the aha, is if I can send $1 million from me to you without an intermediary. We want to know that we control it, not our bank, not our government, not the mayor, not the CEO of the company. When I first started looking for digital gold, I saw there were 10,000 different crypto networks. And I said, what's the winner? What's the safe one? What's the secure choice? And we sifted through and we said, well, the largest, most valuable one appears to be Bitcoin. Has it been copied? Can it be copied? Well, it had been copied 10,000 times and they had all failed. Bitcoin, it was the winner. It attracted all the smart capital. Satoshi launched Bitcoin, disappeared from history forever, disclaimed any beneficial ownership and said, I don't control it, I don't own it. It is my gift. It is sovereign money. Bitcoin is the safest bank.
Do you ever see Bitcoin or cryptocurrency replacing gold? You talk about it as digital gold, but as sort of the store for value in the future. Is that where you see this going?
Gold has been a small asset in portfolio of pessimistic, skeptical investors as a capital asset over the last 100 years. But it's diminished in its impact. History shows that the digital version of everything is always much more powerful and much more valuable than the analog version of everything. Digital gold is going to be certainly 10 times better than physical gold because it doesn't just represent an asset that you can store in your cellar, right? You could think of it as, well, I just put it in a vault and I store it forever.
You were at the White House Crypto Summit last Friday. Why was that so important?
If we want to make America great again, we have to do it with creativity, with imagination, with innovation, with inspiration. This administration, it supports the American entrepreneur, it's pro-technology, and it believes we can grow and innovate our way to a better world. We can create digital tokens that 40 million businesses can issue overnight, and they can raise $10 trillion in order to engage in capital creation and innovation. Their customers and investors want to give them money. We can tokenize our stocks and bonds. We can tokenize our currency. We can put the US dollar in a digital asset form. We will export our currency to China, to Russia, to Africa, to Europe. Everybody on Earth will be using our currency to trade every minute of the day on 8 billion smartphones.
Wow.
And then this last idea is embrace Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the one universally acknowledged commodity. If we let banks in the United States use Bitcoin and custody it and sell it and buy it and loan against it, if the United States government begins to hold it in a strategic reserve, the beneficiary will be America.
If you could talk to President Trump and say, here's the one thing I would tell you to do to ensure that America leads the way in the crypto space, what would you tell him?
I would say he's already done the first thing, which is highlight Bitcoin as a store of value, as digital gold, and put the United States support behind a strategic Bitcoin reserve. The second thing is to support the creation in law of a legitimate path for issuers in the United States to issue digital tokens, digital securities, and digital currency. Because if American companies can create those digital assets, we will become bankers to the world.
What does the future look like to you with Bitcoin, with cryptocurrency in general? Where do you see it 5, 10, or even 100 years from now?
I think big tech is going to embrace Bitcoin. They're going to let you hold your Bitcoin on your iPhone, on your Android phone. It will find its way into Microsoft software, Amazon software, Google, Apple software. I think that banks are going to embrace Bitcoin. So your bank's going to give you a loan against your Bitcoin. It'll buy Bitcoin for you. Insurance companies will start to support Bitcoin. I think families will increasingly begin to see it as their savings account. The yoga studio, the restaurant, the hotel chain, they'll be able to raise capital in order to improve their business and to innovate. And I think that sound money, that will spread through South America, Africa, Asia. It'll tread to China. So I think the future is American values, American technology, not just making America great, but also spreading economic prosperity to the entire world.
Well, Michael Сэйлor, I want to say thank you. Thanks for breaking it down for us, making it more palatable, I think, to the average person to understand and feel comfortable with, because it really does feel like this is the future, this is where we're headed, and thanks for joining us for a little bit.
Thank you for the opportunity.